shall determine, publish, and set criteria to identify marginalized areas in the country. Marginalized in Kenya are classified into ASAL counties, ASAL regions based on their climatic conditions and ecological features, including rainfall patterns, temperature, soil type, vegetation cover, and water availability, among others. That is what is provided for and for CRA. So I'm sure the ministry through the CS has heard you. Now let's give them the first opportunity to respond to what you have cited. Then from there we'll also give members a chance. Welcome, Honorable CS.
Thank you, Chair, again. I wish to confirm that in my ministry, there is a department for ASALs. And in accordance with the Executive Order number 1 issued in January 2023, this department has the mandate on development of ASALs, including ending drought, the livestock issues, agriculture issues, overall mandate on ASALs. And that mandate is firmly here. The classification, however, is the one that is in the Ministry of Agriculture. So the Ministry of Agriculture then tells us, these are the ASAL counties. Then we take care of those counties. It was just a clarification, but the mandate is fully under ASALs. And in the whole government approach, which we are using now, we intend to collectively have this issue so that we are all versed. Even as I get the 23 ASAL counties, our department then satisfies itself of the criteria so that we cover the mandate fully for each and every deserving county. So there will be a whole government approach together with the intersectoral and ministries that are involved, and to the satisfaction of the member, then we can all liaise together. But the mandate is there, but classification in the Ministry of Agriculture. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll now give an opportunity to other members to maybe maybe prosecute this matter. And I think, Honorable Ndikiri, from what we are getting, we may still require to redirect this question to the Ministry of Agriculture. I think there will be no harm, so that let's and then they can also come here, and then we'll also see how they are going to prosecute that matter. But I don't know whether the Honorable CS will be able to respond to this. That how I wanted to ask how frequent or how regular is this classification done, knowing now that we have issues of climate change. Now the data we are using in categorization is for which time, which years? Because things have changed. Now we are hearing that initially we had 23 counties as ASAL. Now the latest information now is there are 34 or 31. So when was the last categorization done, so that now we know, even with that categorization, was Buri included? Because we could be proceeding something, and yet already Buri is in the latest categorization of ASALs. Yeah, so just pick up these questions, maybe just take notes, so that we just give a round of questions, then you can respond to them almost at once. So Honorable, just a minute, Honorable Kalasinga, and then we go in that order, Honorable Sala, and then let them just...
Chairman, I think I'm in concurrence with you. And when you lose question 1, question 2, you get it wrong. When you lose question A, question B, you get it wrong. When you apply a wrong formula, you get a wrong answer. I believe, Chair, Mheshimiwa's question was on how to, not on how to get for support and whatever. It's basically classification. Once classification is sorted, other things will follow automatically. So, according to me, this question is at a wrong place. I would kindly ask the chair that we report back to redirect the question and we execute this question fully. Because, Chairman, classification of these regions, because of interests, it's political. And depending on which side of government you are, which term, if the question you asked was very good, when was it last done? Under which regime? We have areas in this country which deserve, but they have not been placed there because of political correctness. So, the criteria, we want to get it, yes, but now it's at our own place. What I only wanted to ask was Madam CS. Science teaches us that these conditions are dynamic. Yesterday and today will be different from tomorrow. If it takes some period like 5 years or 3 years to do another classification, and yet we are disintegrating into it another county nearby, what science is placed so that by next year, before we do the other classification, this is taken care of? And I believe, I have been to that constituency myself. It's on the leeward side. It is on the leeward side, not rainward side of the hill. I don't know why it is not there. Mheshimiwa, you are right. Chairman, it's back to you. And we as a committee, we must leave this. When you give birth to a child, Mheshimiwa, you don't make a school in your home. You just give birth to a child, you wash, clean, but delegate to a school. It is born in the Ministry of Agriculture, but it is just a school. They don't give birth in schools. It's illegal to give birth in schools. But I agree that, Chairman, we handle this question to the fullest. Thank you. If that is my direction, thank you. And let's move forward, Chair.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Madam CS, for your response and your team. Mine is not much. It's just one question directed to the Department of ASAL. Just like Rasinga says, I took this as a very political position. Because I believe if an issue comes on ASAL, the first place I will come to is this ministry. Then if I'm redirected to another department, it's a bit frustrating. I can see the frustrations from the members' face. The brick, foundation brick for this ministry of ASAL is the categorization. Because that's where you start. What the CS is telling us is they're dealing with the developmental part. That they're told these are the places, go and develop. So my question is, do they have any stakes, any input first on the categorization? Or is purely done by the ministry and they take over? Two, understanding that, because I know NDMA has a lot of stakes, have a lot of report, have a lot of research on ASALs, and CalRO is just a tool being used to give positions. Yes, that this is A and this is B, nothing else. And I solely believe this is the mandate of this department. Categorization is the mandate of this. This is where they should start. Has the CS made any attempt? Because once you get a house, you must get a full house. You don't get the roofings and the walls and the floor is not there. Or are they comfortable with the way it is, or they see that something is missing from the department? And if it's missing, that is the categorization point. Have the ministry or the CS sought to get the full mandate back to the ministry, so that when we go there, it's a one-stop shop, and we get the full answer instead of being directed? So my question is, has the ministry sought the full mandate back, or they're comfortable with the agriculture ministry doing part of their job do they have any input to the categorization at the moment, or they don't have any input? Because I believe as it is now, the forestry department must have an input, the meteorological department must have an input, a lot of other places have an input. So my question is, as I've said, any beseech done by the ministry to get the full mandate back, or they are comfortable with that? That's my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. I have heard the CS say that the mandate resides with the Ministry of Agriculture. So first, my question was when the last categorization was done, and I think you have already asked that. But again, Chair, I think there are further categorizations that are done by the department, because having seen media reports, I've seen that there are areas that have been categorized as critical, and some counties have been categorized as in the alarm stage in terms of the current drought crisis. So I wanted to know who comes up with that further classifications. Because as far as I'm concerned, from what I saw in the newspapers, is that counties in Mandera and Turkana, those areas are now classified as very critical. And that means there's a lot of resources that are going to be directed there so that they can mitigate the effects of the drought. Some counties like Kilifi and others have been categorized as in the alarm stage. But there are some parts of Kilifi County, like Ganze, where I come from, and Magarini, that I can say are also in the critical stage. But according to the data that they have, they still say they're in the alarm stages. People are starving there as we speak right now. So that kind of classification, does it still come from the Department of Agriculture, or that is now done within the Department of ASALs? Thank you.
Thank you, members. I stand guided as such as far as the going forward is concerned, but I want to thank the members who have expressed their independent view of where this classification need to be domiciled. It is not a very simple matter, it's a very serious matter in this country. It is something that really need to be seriously thought of and really executed, Mr. Chairman. I really appreciate the wisdom of your leadership and the wisdom with our members, because they now can see where my frustrations were. Because when I went to have the question put and all these issues, but now I was directed as such at the civil office, the table office, that there is now a whole ministry in charge of this. I think the ownership and is where the problem is, Mr. Chairman. Two, I know Majimbo Kalasinga has been in my constituency. It is purely whether it is raining or it is dry, it is all the same. And one Mr. Gishoy again, Gidui, because I've been crying in his office that time for allocation, and they understood it. What I know, Mr. Chairman, is that it's like there are so many ministries involved. What there lacking now is the coordination. Remember, it was domiciled at the Ministry of Devolution. And then there came the ASAL. Now, I don't know where next week it will be somewhere else. That's why I passionately thought, if I put this question now, where I know that the ones are ASAL and land ASAL, I took the shortest cut, which I thought this is a new government, it will give me a full answer. So, but I haven't gotten from the government that I thought will give me a full answer and to sort my problem. The government that I fought for, and I will continue fighting for without fear or favor. But also, Madam, I need a support. not even me alone, even all these members here, something is not right. Something is not right. And we would like you, your department, to be in the front of sorting out some of these issues. Mr. Chairman, I heard him by saying this. And Karasinga put it very clearly. Meru is known to be a very rich county. But the one to Bori is not a Meru name. I represent a constituency that is highly cosmopolitan with Maasais, Somalis, Bolanas, Turkanas, Meru, Kalenjin, everybody. So the problem has been, Mr. Chairman, that when people are trying to go to Meru, they go to Imenti South, Imenti Central, Imenti North, Tigania East, Tigania West, Igembe Central, Igembe North, Igembe South. Bore is looked at like it's another, it is not nowhere. People don't even think about it. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I will continue pursuing this matter.
Yes.
And I know your department will eventually be the one smiling.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Now, before we give a chance to the Honorable CS to make comments on the issues raised by Honorable members, now we have those two members who have joined us. We want to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. Just give them the mic.
Thank you, Chair. My name's Deko Mohamed Barrow, MP Township, Garissa, and a member of this committee.
Give to our, yes.
Chair, when I handed over the mic, I thought, knowing that I'm a guest, my name is Umu Kasim, County MP Mandera, and a guest to this committee today.
Yeah, thank you. You are a friend to this committee, and you have something, you have a question. Now, before the CS responds or makes comments, maybe final comments, maybe a follow-up of the Honorable Tungule's issue that regions are classified as ASAL. You have said that is in the Ministry of Agriculture. Now, classifying on the basis of drought, who does that? Or is drought equal to ASAL? Yeah, because sometimes we get information, okay, in terms of drought, this is in this stage, or who does that? Is it the same Ministry of Agriculture that does the category for ASALs, or who categorizes the stages in which areas are in terms of drought? Thank you.
Chair, I will take the questions from members. I am informed that the last categorization was 1999 to year 2000, which is a long time ago. The authority, the NDMA, is actually in the process of requesting for review of this classification based on what we have seen and the experience we have seen on the ground. And so the conversation is ongoing. But after being an ASAL, the severity of the drought is classified under the National Drought Management Authority together with a multi-stakeholder team that does it. And we have basically three phases. And the first phase is alert. And this is when the environmental indicators fall below the long-term averages. And these indicators include the rainfall, the precipitation, the water availability, access, vegetation conditions, crops, pasture, and the browse condition. So that becomes an alert. Then the alarm phase, the production indicators along the environmental indicators, they fall short of the long-term average. And the indicators include crop performance production, the livestock performance, the food prices, milk, and all these parameters. That then shows whether it is in alarm. For emergency, this phase is when the utilization or the impact indicators join the environmental and production indicators, and these are just outside the long-term averages. The indicators may also include malnutrition, drought-related morbidity, school dropout, the extreme cropping strategies, including households, reduced meat intake, and all this, then that is classified as emergency. That is why currently we have classified 2 counties to be in emergency, 9 in alert, and 11 in alarm. But then purely in this ministry as part of drought management. Thank you, Chair.
So maybe, Honorable CS, thank you. I think members have heard this, but I think there's a lot that we need to engage on so that we be reading from the same page in terms of what you do and for the understanding of these honorable members. And maybe finally, before we move on to the question 2, has the ministry any role in classification? Does it have any role at all? Or theirs is just to be given that this and this is now ASAL, then they now move on with that, what they have been given, even if they see that this one looks like should be ASAL, do they have any role at all, even in terms of advice, even in terms of any input, or theirs is just to wait from the Ministry of Agriculture, and you know now the last categorization was in 1999, you can imagine how long that is. Imagine if that is the case. And then again, this one of saying ASAL counties are moving from 23 to 34. What was that based on? Or that's an allegation, probably. Is that an allegation or is a fact? And how did it, if the last one was done in 99 or 2000? Now how are we moving from 23 to 34? And who did it? Is it the same Calro? Or it was now this one, you?
Honorable Chair, the counties that have been classified and gazetted are 23. Yes. However, in drought management, you are able to see which counties are affected by the drought, so that you could see the interventions required, then spread outside the 23. Because we do drought management if we separate it from the categorization. But in terms of participation, Chair, I would request we pack history. We want to be at the table. We want to participate in the categorization. We do know that CalRO is a research institute, yes, and it has quite a lot of research instruments, data, and all that. But we also have data on the ground. So going forward, we want to be involved and have an input in the categorization, and the conversation is already starting.
Yeah, but I think the CS is simply telling us that, just a minute, that we have 23 gazetted ASAL counties. However, from that time to now, we have more counties affected by drought. And because they are in drought management, they have since moved from the 23 to maybe the now 34 in terms of managing drought in the other counties that may not have been gazetted. So for them, it is not categorizing, it is managing drought. Thank you.
My understanding might not be, okay, I don't know if I'm the one who is a slow learner, But if I got it right, she said that we have 23 counties categorized as ASAL. And she had just said that the last classification was done 20 years ago. 2000, this is 2020? 23, how many years are those? 23 years. Telling me if these 23 counties were classified that time, or it was classified recently when their counties, in fact, counties came in space when? 2010? Yeah, 2013. So it means there is some classification that was done after 2010. So that we get 23 counties named as not districts, because they were districts before. Yes. No problem. When you name them as counties, then classification was done recently after 2010 of naming and nomenclature. That is, I don't know if I'm a slow learner, but if I'm not, then that is the case. If it isn't, then we let's know. Is it? That is why I'm saying, Chairman, there is something more than here. These things are kind of reward, but we must come on the table. Rindikiri's government that he worked for and is in now, we must get to the truth through the Minister of Agriculture. But I want to give them a go ahead because they don't have the institutes to do the scientific classifications. Because to classify arid and semi-arid, you must first soil type. If it's fully sand, they don't have the institute to test soils. It should be rain quantity, amount in rain. They don't have that. So it's pure agriculture, they say, but they must get a percentage of involvement in this classification. Yes. Thank you, Chair.
So I think the Honorable CS and team are getting our concerns. You may not give us maybe adequate response on this, but we want to give you an opportunity just to respond to the concerns, then we move on. Welcome. Yes, Mheshimiwa CS, karibu.
Yes, the classification that was done in 2010 did not classify as counties, but 2000, sorry. It was not, they did not call them counties, but it is regions, it's areas, but when you map them now, after the creation of counties, they fit into those counties. So it's just that clarification. But I would like to request the CEO of NDMA, who deals with these issues on a day-to-day basis, whether he has any input as we take the concerns of the members.
Thank you, Honorable Members. Thank you, Waziri. Before NDMA, there was Ireland Resource Management Project. Was done, but as the CS has put, when the countries were formed, then those regions now, those districts formed part of a county. And for Bori, it was in 2009 when the office of Maua was established, and Bori is managed from Maua since then. In terms of the numbers, the CS has put, we have 23 counties, but we have pockets of other counties, 9 other counties. But the 2 major counties that NDMA manages is Elgeyo Marakwet and Machakos. Elgeyo we manage from Baringo, while Machakos we manage from Makueni. And as CS has put, that we are in the process of putting together documentations to be able to request for classification. NDMA can only make a request for classifications so that once approval is given, then NDMA would manage in terms of the drought risk management of those, the new counties that will be classified. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, honorable members. I think we raised that question there and move on to question 2. And we want to invite our colleague, the Honorable Umul Kher Kasim, County MP for Mandera County, to once again raise the question here before the CS, so that we also give the CS an opportunity to respond to the questions. Do you have a copy of?
Yes.
Oh, very good.
Yes, Chair.
Then welcome.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you for having me here today. and taking this matter with the seriousness it deserves. My first question, Chair, was could the Cabinet Secretary clarify whether there are any interventions that the government is undertaking to assist the people of Mandera County from the adverse effects of the prolonged drought? Chair, with your guidance, should I do all the questions? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I think you do all the questions.
Okay.
And I will also ask the Honorable CS to respond to all the questions. Then we can engage.
Okay, thank you. I'm guided. Could the Cabinet Secretary provide details of the total sum of money and social assistance that the government has mobilized from the government ministries, the development partners, and private organizations towards alleviating drought and famine, particularly in Mandera County, and indicate whether the assistance has reached the target population? My third question was, could the government consider providing food rations to affected families living in drought-stricken areas during the upcoming holy month of Ramadan, which started today? Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Kasim. Now we want to give a chance to the Honorable CS to give a response to the questions. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, honorable members. To the questions that have been asked, whether we should clarify whether there are any interventions that the government is undertaking to assist the people of Mandera County from the adverse effects of the prolonged drought. And the response is that the government has been working in collaboration with other partners and stakeholders to support the communities in Mandera County. The interventions include provision of food assistance, cash transfer, access to water, health services outreach, provision of meal in schools, school fee subsidies, and inter-community peace dialogues. But this is answered more comprehensively in question number 2, where we have provided details of the total sum of money and assistance that the government has mobilized from government ministries, development partners, and private organizations towards alleviating drought and famine, particularly in Mandera County, and to indicate whether the assistance has reached the target population. I want to give the details that the Ministry of East Africa Community, the ASALs and Regional Development has given, and in Table 1, we have the cash transfer under the Hunger Safety Net Program, HSNP. We have 2 categories: the regular cash transfers, which then reach 22,158 households, 1,200 shillings. In terms of relief food allocation to Mandera County, we have allocated 14,760 50 kg bags of rice that are worth 107 million shillings. And for beans, 10,440, also 50 kg bags of beans, worth 78,300,000. And the total is shown there in terms of the food relief from the ministry. But on table number 3, these are the other interventions in Mandera County.